Good evening, fans. This is your girl from MEL'S Chat, and this is your official WWE Elimination Chamber preview and predictions. How is everybody doing? It's right now Friday evening, but this is going to be going live at hopefully, fingers crossed, 9 a.m. in the morning, right before the pay-per-view at noon. So I just want to be able to sleep a little bit later tomorrow. I'm exhausted. So that's why this is actually Friday night. I'm in my pajamas right now, okay? I'm going right to sleep after I do this. So let's get this started. Earlier today, I went live with episode 229. It's on the channel. Go check it out. Remember to like, share, and please subscribe to my channel. And turn on all my notifications. I gotta get used to that. I'm sorry, people. And go check that out. And go check out everything that's on my channel. Seriously. Also, share the channel. Put it on your social media, whatever the case may be. Just do it, okay? Also, please go check out Outbreak Wrestling on YouTube and Facebook. Everything, and Twitter and everything. They're having a camp on April 30th. If you really seriously want to get into the wrestling business, no fans, okay? No fans. If you get caught there, don't blame me, okay? I'm just saying. I'm giving you the 411. Please don't go there being a fan. It's going to be all business, not pleasure. But if you're doing this and you end up liking the whole situation, then it is pleasure, okay? So please do me a favor. Please go check out harrys.com. Go check out maestroclassics.com. Go check out deathwitchcoffee.com. Go check out liquiddeath.com. Go check out Ringside News. Go download their new and improved app on Google Play and iOS stores. And please go check out HOG Wrestling. They're doing big things. Go check out them on Fight TV. Lots of stuff are going to be happening with that promotion. And we are on the way. This is your preview and predictions of the Elimination Chamber. So let's get you through the Monday Night Raw and Smackdown that just ended, like literally. Okay. This week's Raw is coming from Indianapolis, and it opens with the almighty champion Bobby Lashley. They make their way to the ring. Lashley says he has to win the most brutal match in WWE before he can walk into WrestleMania as WWE champion. He says the Elimination Chamber has changed lives and destroyed careers, but so has he. So many people have tried to stop and derail him, but he's destroyed all of them. MVP says Lashley has a 16% chance of winning the Elimination Chamber, which doesn't sound great until you take one key factor into the account. None of the other competitors are almighty, so Bobby has a 100% chance of winning. So we are basically off to the runnings with that. And I have to put my screen on my phone where I have taken the 10 minutes because it'll keep going off and it'll drive me to drink. Seth Rollins comes out laughing and says Lashley looks great, but not as great as him. Rollins says the good news, Bobby, is that nobody in the chamber can beat him except for him. MVP says he has the vision. He had a vision, and he can see Rollins getting his ass beat if he doesn't shut up. Matt Riddle comes out wearing his toga and his hair braided. The fans chant toga. And Riddle compares being inside the Elimination Chamber to being locked inside a smelly bathroom. Riddle says it would be really cool if he became WWE champion, and it would even be cooler if they all came to his broker party later tonight. Maybe not Seth, though, because he has to get ready for a match against Randy Orton tonight. Riddle says Lashley would look amazing in a toga, and the fans started chanting. Austin Theory comes out and says Mr. McMahon has taught him to expect the unexpected, and that apologies are weaknesses. He's going to apply those lessons inside the chamber and win the chamber match and become the WWE champion. AJ Styles makes his way out, and he says Theory's lips have been on Vince McMahon's ass so long he can't even speak sense. Styles says he's been in the Elimination Chamber before, and he knows nobody walks in with an advantage. Everyone comes out a changed man, but that's part of the game. Styles says nobody is going to stop him from having a defining WrestleMania moment. AJ praises Riddle's toga and says he too could walk out of the Elimination Chamber as double champion if he could beat Damien Priest later on tonight. Riddle asks AJ to come to the Broga party, but Lashley shuts him up. Lashley goes through each of them explaining why none of them can beat him and why he's the only one deserving of walking into WrestleMania as champion. Brock Lesnar music hits and out comes with a cowboy hat and a sweater. Lesnar circles the ring and then gets inside and takes the sweater and the hat and places them on Theory, like he has a hat rack. Theory jumped on Brock's back as he stares at Lashley, but quickly gets German suplexed for his troubles. The ring clears and Brock is left alone with Theory, who he plants himself with an F5. Brock takes a selfie with Theory's phone. That was hilarious. I was LOLing the entire time this whole thing was going on. We start off, the first match is the Dirty Dogs versus the Street Profits. Former NXT champion Tommaso Ciampa is also on commentary for this match. So we had two former NXT champions involved in this. We forget Bobby Roode is a former NXT champion. I know we always forget. It's ridiculous. For this match, after he brawled with Dolph Ziggler on last week's NXT, Ford begins with Ziggler and starts hot, but Roode tags in and catches Ford with a spinning rock bottom for a 2 count. Ziggler tags back in and Roode throws him up so he can drop a knee on Montez Ford. Drops Ziggler with a drop kick and both men are down. Dawkins and Roode get the tags and Angelo lands some lariats and spinning back elbow. Dolph comes back and Dawkins slams him, but Roode then catches him with a spine buster, a Triple H spine buster. On the outside, Ciampa mocks Ziggler with fake applause. Dolph goes for a super kick, but Ciampa throws water in his face. Meanwhile, in the ring, Dawkins slams Roode and Ford hits from the heavens for the win. The Street Profits pick up the win. On the outside, Ziggler does a super kick on Ciampa, but Ford and Dawkins get him back in the ring. They look to double team him with Ziggler escape and laughs on the ramp with Roode. Riddle is backstage with a bunch of superstars who are all wearing togas. He asks where Orton is, but Queen Zelina Vega says, who cares? This is a party for her. Riddle says it's for RK Bro, and it starts a Broga chant. Orton is shown watching the shenanigans on a monitor. Kevin Patrick appears and asks why he isn't celebrating, and Orton says he's not much of a toga guy. Coming from a guy that fucking smokes pot. Okay. Orton says he's more focused on Seth Rollins, who he knows will have some sort of scheme to win the Elimination Chamber on Saturday. But before that happens, he's going to win with the three most deadly, devastating letters in the WWE, the RKO. To celebrate Black History Month, we get a video package celebrating the life of the career of WWE Hall of Famer Rocky Johnson. And the video was narrated by his son, The Rock. It was a really good video package. Okay, think tonight. Kevin Owens cuts a promo earlier today. It says he is a realist, so he knows he's probably won't get to go to WrestleMania this year. Last week he had great things to say about Texas, but the Texans started trashing him on Twitter. Well, he was lying last week, but he's not lying now. He hates Texas. He's from Quebec, Canada, a place populated with intelligent, sophisticated people, the opposite of Texas. If the North America was the human body, Texas would be the ass. We go with the WWE United States Championship match, AJ Styles versus Damien Priest. The match gets underway, and the Priest takes Styles down with a wrist lock. Styles fights back, but Priest wallops him with right hands. Backing him into the corner, Priest shoves AJ to the ropes and catches him with a backbreaker. Styles fights out of a rear chin lock and knocks Priest down. AJ wants the Styles clash, but Priest escapes and hits a Dominator for a 2 count. AJ clotheslines Priest over the top rope to the floor, then jumps to the apron, but Priest swipes his feet. Priest wants to chokeslam AJ on the apron, but Styles lands on his feet. Swings a kick, but Priest avoids and swipes his feet again. Priest gets back inside and tries to kick AJ off the ropes. The apron, and gets his foot caught on the top rope. Styles knocks him back and wants a phenomenal forearm. Priest avoids it and hits a sunset flip for the win. So, clean victory, which Damien Priest absolutely needed. He's not on the card this weekend. He'll be doing something else. His next opponent, who in the heck knows at this point, but it better be good. We're back with Alexa Bliss and her therapist. He asked her if she's feeling better, and she says yes. Life is good for her. The first time in a long time. She is happy. He says he thinks she earned a gift and asks what she wants. She says she wants the music to stop. He stops the music and then pulls out a ripped Lily doll that Charlotte tore up. He says he's giving this to her so she can be at peace. Bliss takes a deep breath and smiles at him, then pulls out an intact Lily and says he has an idea. So we go to Amos versus the Hurt Business. Talking about a burial times 2. Seriously, people. Like, oh my Jesus. Alexander tried to rush Amos from the behind, but gets grabbed and shoved in the corner. Shelton is tagged in, and Cedric grabs Amos' feet to distract him, allowing Shelton to land some right hands. Amos shrugs them off and knocks Benjamin down, then grabs Cedric by the throat and throws him with a chokehold bomb to score a quick pin. Amos is the winner. We see Dana Brooke and friend-zoned Reggie in a restaurant together for Valentine's Day. In the back room, we see Akira Tozawa and Tamina sneaking into the restaurant. So that's a segment. We come back. The Arcade Broga party is raging backstage, and the Street Profits join the proceedings to play some beer pong. Adam Pearce is in the ring for a contract signing between WWE Hall of Famer Lita and Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. Pearce introduces Lita first, then Lynch comes out looking distracted and a little disheveled. Becky asks Lita not to sign the contract. She says she hasn't slept in a week, thinking her teenage idol assaulted her and is trying to steal everything from her. She'll let all that slide if Lita tears up the contract. She says Lita had a great career. What does she have to prove? Neither of them have anything to gain from this. Lita asks the fans if they think she should tear up the contract, and they boo. She asks if she should sign it and shut Becky up, and they cheer. Lita says she didn't come back because she has one good match left in her. She has one hell of a championship run in her. Becky doesn't have to like this, but the match is happening. Lita signs the contract, and Becky says she's pushing her to the point she can't come back from. Ooh, little difference on Becky. Lynch says she's studied Lita more than anyone knows, all of her weaknesses, and she'll go right for her neck. People remember with a smile on their face, but by the time she's done, they'll think of her with a tear in their eye. Becky signs the contract, and Lita says Becky claims there would be no big-time Becks without Lita. So if she had a hand in creating this, she owes it to everyone to end it and become a 5-time champion in the process. Becky throws the contract at Lita and then walks off. A women's Eliminator Chamber match has been announced for the pay-per-view on Saturday. The participants include Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Doudrop, and Nikki Ash, and the final entrant yet unknown. The winner of this match will face the Raw Women's Champion at the Show of Shows, the stupendous WrestleMania 38. There was a gauntlet match. What had happened was they wanted to see who was going to be entering the Elimination Chamber last. So we start off with Rhea Ripley versus Nikki Ash. We start this match. They started it during commercial break. Ripley misses a boot to Nikki on the apron. Nikki sweeps her feet, then drags Rhea under the apron and peppers her with forearms. Nikki gets back in the ring and tackles Ripley for a 2 count, then goes to a submission. Rhea gets slammed into the buckles, and Nikki starts targeting her left leg. Ripley fights out of a side headlock and hits a few short arm clotheslines. Ripley lifts and throws Nikki's face, then picks her up for the riptide, but Nikki slides off and chop blocks the leg. Nikki goes to the middle rope for a crossbody, but gets caught and awkwardly slammed. Ripley lifts Nikki up and hits the riptide for a pinfall. So we have Ripley moving on, and she's going to be facing the next competitor, which is Liv Morgan. The match gets underway, and Morgan attempts a small package, but eats a boot to the chest for her trouble. Liv lands a drop kick and beats Rhea down in the corner before grabbing a sleeper. Ripley gets up with Morgan on her back and runs into the buckles. Ripley hits a snapmare before lifting Liv up on her shoulders for an electric chair drop. Morgan wants a Hurricane Rana, but Ripley holds her up until Liv lands a facebuster for a near fall. Liv goes to the apron and jumps Ripley, but gets caught. Ripley grabs Morgan in the prison trap, but Liv rolls forward to get out of it. Morgan runs at Ripley, but gets kicked in the gut and hits with a riptide, and that's Morgan out of the equation. So she's not going to be the last one to be going in. We have Rhea Ripley versus Doudrop. Ripley and Doudrop lock up and struggle for control. Doudrop gets Ripley into the corner, but Rhea starts forcing her backwards, so Doudrop grabs a side headlock. Rhea shoots her off and attempts a shoulder block, but Doudrop doesn't budge. Rhea talks some trash and says she'll try again, but again, Doudrop doesn't go down. Ripley shoves Doudrop and hits a third shoulder, and this time Doudrop goes flying. Ripley swings for her, but Doudrop catches her with a back suplex. Doudrop kicks the back and runs Rhea into the buckles. Doudrop stays in control, hitting a senton and a scoop slam. Doudrop looks for another, but Rhea avoids it and connects with a drop kick. Ripley wants the short arm clothesline, but Doudrop eats them and doesn't fall for it. They start hitting each other with clotheslines and not falling. Then Rhea ducks one and connects with a drop kick for a 2 count. Doudrop eats a few shots and wants a scoop slam, but Rhea slides down her back. Rhea wants the riptide, but Doudrop fights out of it. Doudrop hits the ropes, but Ripley hits her, then lands a riptide for the win. So she moves on, and she's facing Bianca Belair. One of these women are going to be the last to go into the Elimination Chamber tomorrow. Well, this afternoon, okay? It's this afternoon, but I'm sitting here. It is 11:35 at night. I'm exhausted, and I'm probably going to be up until at least 1, making sure everything goes right for this whole situation. Moving on. The final step of the gauntlet match is underway. Belair slams Ripley in the corner for a 2 count. Ripley wiggles out of a scoop slam but gets rolled up for a 2 count. Belair attempts another quick pin, but Rhea kicks out. Belair boots Ripley in the gut and jumps over her and hits a suplex. Ripley prevents a second suplex in an attempt, one of her own, but Belair counters with a stalling suplex for a near fall. Belair applies an abdominal stretch to Ripley in the middle of the ring. Rhea eventually fights free but gets hit with a hip toss. Bianca runs at her in the corner but gets caught with a drop toe hold into the turnbuckles. Ripley knees Belair in the face and then hits a snapmare and looks for a drop kick, but Belair avoids it. Belair hits a handspring moonsault for a near fall. Belair jumps over Ripley again and runs at her, but this time Ripley drops her with a boot in the chest. Both women run at each other and drop each other. Rhea rolls in the ring and Bianca goes after her. Belair tries to get Ripley back in the ring, but Rhea sends her into the steel steps. Both women are down and on the outside. Come back from break. Belair is in control of Ripley. She lifts her up and hits a grand glam slam for a near fall. Rhea fights back and looks for the riptide, but Belair avoids it. Belair attempts of a KOD, but Ripley lands on her feet and backs up. Ripley gets sent to the apron and goes to the top rope where Belair slaps her across the face. They exchange slaps over and over until Bianca Bianca hits a drop kick and then throws Ripley off the top rope onto her back. Belair attempts handspring moonsault. Ripley gets her knees up, and again, both women are down. "This is awesome," chant from the fans. Ripley goes to the top rope and connects with a missile dropkick that sends Belair flying across the ring. Rhea locks in the prism trap, but Belair quickly rolls out of it and hits a spine buster, Triple H style. Belair hits the KOD for the win, so she's going to be the last one in. Bianca Belair has earned the right to enter the Elimination Chamber match. This afternoon, she helps Ripley to her feet and holds her arm. Ripley competed for 44 minutes straight. No, that's a egregious fabrication. It was shorter than that, like 30 minutes tops. Riddle is backstage with the Broga Party and sings a Valentine's Day song until he gets attacked by Otis. Now, if you are an old school person like me, I never got Animal House. So if you go and watch it, there's a song, "I Give My Love a Cherry," and you'll look that up, and that's what he's saying. I know, I'm old. I'm 40 years old. What the fuck you expect? So, Riddle gets attacked by Otis and Chad Gable. Everyone runs away, allowing Gable to hit Riddle in the gut with his guitar. We go to a commercial. We're back at the restaurant with Reggie and Dana Brooke. R-Truth appears as their waiter, and Reggie attacks him, allowing Dana to run off. Dana runs into Tamina and Tozawa, but fights them off. They evade the jobbers, and Dana kisses Reggie again. Reggie asks if they can be more than just friends, and she says no, so Reggie rolls her up and takes the title. Reginald is the new WWE 24/7 champion. I'm just so glad that we don't see Chad Gable running after this. He actually has a decent title, and he's trying to make it as best as possible. Alpha Academy comes to the ring where the Mysterios are waiting. Gable tells everyone to shush and calls the fans criminals. He says now they've taken care of the Broga Party, it's time for them to get down to brass tacks. He says it's time for the Professor Gable's first ever public assembly. Gable says he hates cheaters, and RK Bro are the worst of the worst. Gable says RK Bro hired an Irishman to host a spelling bee, and his accent was as thick as Otis's neck. He couldn't understand a word. Gable complains that the categories were corrupt and the fans helped RK Bro to win. Gable says he wants Dominic to listen because his con man father has been teaching him to cheat. They show a clip of Mysterio helping Dominic beat The Miz by tripping him. The Miz and Maurice come out, and they will be joining commentary for this match. The Mysterios versus the Alpha Academy. We're coming back from a commercial, and it's underway. With Otis standing on Ray, Otis lifts Ray and hit a scoop slam before staring at Dominic. Otis backs Ray into the corner and whips him chest first into the opposite buckles. Otis splashes Ray, then tags Gable, and he hits a gutbuster for a 2 count. Otis tags back in and tries to make Ray submit to no avail. Otis attempts a Vader bomb, but Ray rolls out of the way. Gable and Dominic get tags, and Dominic catches Chad with a head scissor, then knocks him into the corner. Dominic hits a 3 Amigos for his Uncle Eddie, but Gable counters the last one and hits a Tiger Suplex for a near fall. Dominic hits a head scissors, and Gable flies out of the ring. Gable gets the tag and he knocks Otis off the apron, then holds the rope for Dominic to dive into Otis. Ray slides under the bottom rope and Sunset flips Gable into the barricade. We come back from commercial. Gable hits Dominic with repeated belly-to-belly suplexes for a near fall. Gable goes to the top rope and jumps with a moonsault, but Dominic rolls out of the way and rolls him up for a 2. Ray tags in and hits a tilt rope head scissors to Gable before knocking Otis off the apron. Ray elbows Chad and attempts a springboard, but gets caught in midair with a German suplex. Gable lifts Ray onto his shoulders, but Mysterio counters with an incredible spinning facebuster. Otis breaks up the pin, but Dominic and Ray run him shoulder first into the ring post. Ray drops Gable on the middle rope and tags Dominic so the two of them can hit stereo 619s. They both go to the apron and Miz jumps up and distracts them, so Ray jumps onto him. Dominic hits Gable with a crossbody and gets rolled up by Gable for the win. The Alpha Academy win. After the match, Maurice gets in the ring and berates the Mysterios, allowing Miz to throw Dominic out of the ring and then hit Ray with a skull-crushing finale. Alexa Bliss is back in her therapist, and she says he's happy to let her go because she is cured. He tells her to take Lily with her. He tells her to take Lily with her wherever she goes. Bliss says she doesn't have Lily anymore, but he tells her he restored the original Lily and she needs to keep it in order to live a normal life. Bliss thanks him and shakes his hand and makes him shake Lily's hand. We hear a voiceover of Alexa Bliss saying there's an open spot in the Elimination Chamber, so she knows where she's going on Saturday, which is this afternoon. We go to a commercial break. We see a lengthy recap of this week's Smackdown, focusing on Naomi and Sonya Deville's relationship. The announcer runs down the entire card of the Sunday's Elimination Chamber. The show will begin at 12 noon in a little while, in a couple of hours. We will have, there'll be live coverage and blah, blah, blah. Main event time. Seth Owens versus Randy Orton. The main event finally gets underway with a lockup. They separate and Rollins gloats, so Orton drops him with a right hand. Orton beats Seth in the corner with European uppercuts, then climbs up for 10 punches, but Seth slips between his legs and trips Orton. Rollins chokes Randy using the middle rope, then hits a running forearm, snapmare, and a kick to the back. Rollins applies a rear chinlock, then gets out of the ring and drags Orton underneath the bottom rope to hit a running boot to the face. Rollins taunts the crowd before getting Randy back into the ring and connects with an axe handle off the top rope. Seth wastes time gloating, and Orton chops at him, then lands a few lariats. Orton looks for a snapmare powerbomb, but Rollins avoids it, then attempts the stomp, but Randy slips away. Orton clothesline Rollins out of the ring, then back suplexes him onto the announce desk. Orton gets Rollins back into the ring and wants the draping DDT, but Rollins flips the Viper over and the ropes to the floor. Seth goes to the apron and hits a running knee to drop him. Seth then reconnects with a suicide dive that sends Orton over the announce desk. Back from a commercial break, Rollins blocks a suplex to hit one of his own. Seth heads to the top rope and wants a frog splash, but Orton crotches him on the ropes. Orton climbs up and hits a superplex, then crawls over to cover and gets a near fall. Rollins and Orton trade blows in the center of the ring until Seth hits an enziguri, then slams Orton onto the turnbuckles. Rollins connects with a sling blade, then looks for a stomp, but Orton catches him with a snapmare powerbomb for a near fall. Seth counters Orton with a super kick for a near fall. Orton hits a rolling elbow, followed by a second one to the back of the head. Rollins runs for a stomp again, but Orton pulls away. Rollins attempts a pedigree, but Randy throws him to the apron and hits the draping DDT. Orton connects with an RKO, but out comes Alpha Academy. Riddle catches up with them. They start rolling on the ramp. Randy runs out of the ring to help him fight off the leases. All three men are lying. When Orton returns to the ring, he eats a stomp and Rollins covers him for a pin. Winner is Seth Rollins. So this is what's going to be going on for the early afternoon, noon today. It's going to be going live on Peacock. So go check it out. On to Smackdown. I swear to God, it's cut and paste with this company. Jesus Christ. We go right to the ring, and Adam Pearce is out for a contract signing. He hypes Ronda Rousey and Naomi versus Sonya Deville and the SmackDown Women's Champion Charlotte Flair for the Elimination Chamber. Out comes Deville, who still has her arm in a sling. Flair is out next, and they enter the ring together. Out next comes Naomi, followed by Ronda. They head to the ring together as Flair and Deville look on. Pearce speaks, but Deville interrupts and says she knows how these contract signings work. She goes to sign and says maybe Pearce should explain it to Rousey and Naomi since they can't follow the rules. They both mock her and she says she doesn't like them because they have no respect. Rousey and Naomi continue taunting Deville until Flair asks why they think this is so funny. Flair points to how she beat Naomi last week, and Rousey has never defeated her. I hate to say this, but boy, is Charlotte rewriting history. She technically beat her. DQ, Survivor Series. I know people love to fucking forget that, but it's the truth. It's facts. Go check it out on the WWE Network on Peacock. They all argue until Rousey interrupts and tells Deville to sign the contract. Deville puts the pen to paper, and then Deville gives Rousey and Naomi one last chance to back out of the match. Naomi threatens her again. Flair reveals that Deville has a new stipulation for the match. Deville explains how Rousey told the WWE cameraman last week that she could easily beat DeVille with one arm tied behind her back. DeVille thought that she was a badass. It was a badass idea, pure genius. So she talked to the WWE higher ups, and it's on the contract. Rousey will wrestle the match with one arm tied behind her back. Fans boo. Where the fuck is Shayna Baszler? Just saying. They should start setting up people in line to go after Charlotte or Ronda after WrestleMania. Rousey smirks and signs the contract. Rousey says she will still tap dance on DeVille's forehead with no hands, but the match is this afternoon, and tonight she has two hands. She tosses the contract at Flair. Flair goes for her, but gets slammed face first in the table. I swear to God, this Charlotte is no sell Charlotte. Plain and simple. Rousey and Naomi then flip the table over Flair and DeVille. Naomi and Rousey stand together tall, taunting their opponent. At their opponent's Rousey music starts up. We see recent happenings in the Sheamus and Ridge Holland versus Ricochet and Cesaro feud. Sheamus can't believe how Holland still let Ricochet get the best of him, even after the broken nose. Sheamus says he never had an issue with taking care of Ricochet. Sheamus gets Holland hyped up and tells him to watch tonight as he takes Ricochet's head off. That's the first match we go to. We go back to the ring, and out comes Sheamus with Ridge Holland as Samantha Irving, which is the ring announcer. She's the new ring announcer. She is actually Ricochet's girlfriend. Oh, how quaint, you know. Does the introductions. Back from commercial. The announcers hype tonight's face-off with Roman Reigns and Bill Goldberg. We go back to the ring. Ricochet, and as Sheamus and Holland look on, we get a pre-recorded promo with Ricochet talking about getting the win tonight. The bell rings and Ricochet nails a big drop kick into the corner and then another. Sheamus shoves him out of the corner and goes for a slam, but Ricochet counters for a 2 count. Sheamus with a knee to the gut and forearm over the back. Sheamus beats Ricochet around now. Ricochet with a kick and another drop kick to send Sheamus to the floor. Ricochet runs and leaps through the ropes with a flip, taking Sheamus down into the barrier. They bring it back in and go out it, but Sheamus catches Ricochet with an Irish curse backbreaker. Sheamus grounds Ricochet with a knee now. Sheamus works Ricochet over, but Ricochet turns it around in the corner and unloads with chops and punches. Sheamus with a big forearm. Sheamus sends Ricochet face first into the turnbuckles, then hits a back suplex as Holland applauds. Sheamus grounds Ricochet. Ricochet fights up and out, then knees Sheamus in the jaw. Ricochet charges, and then they both tumble over the top rope, but Ricochet hangs on and Sheamus hits the floor. Ricochet goes for a moonsault from the apron, but Sheamus catches him in midair and delivers a big fallaway slam onto the announce table, sending Ricochet flying to the floor. We get back from commercial. Sheamus standing tall at ringside, and Sheamus hits a big top rope clothesline. Sheamus continues to dominate, then hits 10 beats of the Batarang as Holland applauds from the ringside. Sheamus clotheslines Ricochet back in from the apron and asks everyone if they are entertained. Sheamus keeps control and sends Ricochet to the corner. Ricochet ends up counting with a big tornado DDT. They both get up and unload on each other. Ricochet with a crossbody and a warning to Holland. Ricochet goes on and nails a springboard elbow. Then a standing shooting star press for another 2 count. Ricochet goes on and hits a big moonsault for a 2 count. Ricochet is frustrated now. They go back and forth now with Sheamus delivering an Alabama slam for a close 2 count. Sheamus keeps control and then goes to the top, but Ricochet leaps up and brings him to the mat with a big Spanish fly. Sheamus kicks out just in time. Ricochet goes back up and Holland distracts him from the apron. Sheamus misses a bro kick and almost hits Holland as Ricochet moves. Ricochet comes right back with a recoil for the win. Winner is Ricochet. After the match, Ricochet makes his exit as the music hits. Holland enters the ring to check on Sheamus, but Sheamus yells at him. They have words and Sheamus shoves Holland to the mat. Sheamus stares at Ricochet on the stage as Holland stands behind him looking down. Tonight's Progressive sponsor match, Flow Replays, looks at the happenings between Sami Zayn and Rick Boogs and the WWE Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. Kayla Braxton is backstage with Zayn now. Kayla notes that Boogs isn't there tonight due to some auspicious faulty wiring, but Sami insists he had nothing to do with it. What happened to Boogs? Sami goes on about how there has been a conspiracy against him to keep him from the Intercontinental Championship. Sami says none of that matters because tonight he will be the greatest night of his life. I think his wife should have something to say about that. As he regains the Intercontinental title, Sami dismisses Kayla so he can breathe and get ready for his match. We go to a commercial. The announcers hype The Undertaker WWE Hall of Fame induction. We get a lengthy video package with highlights from Taker's career. We see the Bloodline backstage hanging out in the WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns locker room suite. Reigns and WWE Hall of Famer Bill Goldberg will face off later on tonight. Later on tonight. Graves sends us to a lengthy video package for Goldberg versus Reigns at the WWE Elimination Chamber match. Smackdown Tag Team Champion Jey Uso versus Ivar. We go back to the ring, and out comes Smackdown Tag Team Champions, the Usos. Jey Uso with Jimmy Uso. The Usos hit the ring, and we go to a commercial. Come back, and out comes the Viking Raiders, Ivar and Eric. The announcers hype the Viking Raiders versus the Usos for the Elimination Champion. The bell rings, and Jey kicks Ivar in the gut. They unload in the corner. Cole says the Vikings didn't come out with their helmets because the Usos took them last week. Ivar fights back and ends up hitting a senton for the corner for a close 2 count. Ivar with a big side slam, but he misses the follow-up splash, and Jey moves. Jey super kicks Ivar for a 2 count. Jey keeps control and grounds Ivar in the middle of the ring as Jimmy taunts Eric, who is rallying the crowd. Ivar fights up and out does a cartwheel and catches a kick, but Uso nails an enziguri. Ivar comes back with a big clothesline, but he is slow to capitalize. Ivar stands tall in the corner, then charges with a big running senton in the opposite corner. Ivar goes to the top turnbuckle and hits a flying splash for the pin, but Jimmy hits the ring and breaks the pin up for a disqualification, so they kept them both strong. But Ivar, I think it's Ivar. Yeah, Ivar wins. After the bell, Eric hits the ring and attacks Jimmy, taking his headgear back and then knocking Jimmy out of the ring. The Usos take their titles and head up the ramp while the Vikings regain their headgear. We see last week's backstage confrontation between Drew McIntyre and Madcap Moss to set up their Falls Count Anywhere match at the Elimination Chamber. We go back to the ring, and out comes McIntyre to a pop. He's carrying his sword, Angela. Drew raises the sword at the entranceway, and the pyro goes off before he marches to the ring. Drew will deliver the Smackdown Warriors' final preparation next. Drew hits the turnbuckle to pose. Back from the break, Drew takes the mic. He talks about his history with New Orleans. Drew has been doing some reflecting on his life and his career, which almost ended because of this. He shows us a replay from WWE Day 1 where Moss and Happy Corbin attacked him backstage. Drew says he wanted to play that clip only for his own benefit, so he would remember how he felt when the doctor told him he missed WrestleMania season. He recalls being WWE champion during WrestleMania season 2 years ago when he slayed Brock Lesnar, and says this year it's damn personal. He goes on all about things he can do and all the ways he can beat Moss in the Elimination Chamber, at the Elimination Chamber. The music finally interrupts, and out comes Moss and Corbin. Corbin tells Drew to listen to himself and asks what kind of role model he's supposed to be to little Scottish kids. Moss taunts Drew over his neck and says tomorrow they'll fight all over the arena, but the joke is on Drew because Moss is a great in this environment, and he will finish what he and Corbin started at Day 1. Moss cracks another joke about McIntyre's neck. He and Corbin laugh while the crowd boos. Drew says the whole situation is sad. He says Moss has a terrible jokes, but all the talent in the world, but he aligned himself with this piece of crap like Corbin. And the biggest mistake he made was coming for Drew. Drew goes on and says he will end and hurt Moss at the Elimination Chamber, and it will be the night the laughter died. The music hits. Drew stands tall in the ring, staring at Moss and Corbin. Kayla Braxton is backstage with WWE Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. She asked Nakamura about his strategy for tonight with Rick Boogs sideline. Nakamura says his plan is to kick Sami in the face. He goes on and says Zayn must really be insane if he thinks he could beat Nakamura for the title. Cole Boogs is at home recuperating from what happened last week on Sami Zayn's show. WWE Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn taking on Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. We go back to the ring, and out comes WWE Intercontinental Champion Shinsuke Nakamura to a pop. Nakamura hits the ring and poses as we go to commercial. Back from the commercial, we have it back from break, and it's announced that Big E will be the honorary pace car driver at NASCAR's Daytona 500 on Sunday. We go back to the ring, and Nakamura looks at Sami Zayn, makes his way out. He has been number one contender since winning the 12 Days of Christmas gauntlet match on December 24th. Smackdown on Smackdown. We get formal ring introduction from Irvin. The bell rings and they seize each other up, and Sami goes onto the corner to stall. Nakamura kicks Sami in the head, and Sami goes to the ropes and to stall. Fans chant for Nakamura now. Sami applies a headlock now. They go back to the corner, and the referee forces a break. Sami sneaks a right hand and beats Nakamura up in the corner. Nakamura gets whipped across the ring, but he comes out of the corner with a flying kick. Nakamura with more kicks. Nakamura grounds Zayn and delivers knees. Nakamura drops Zayn in the corner and stomps away. Nakamura drapes Sami Zayn over the top turnbuckle and delivers a high knee for a pop. Nakamura pulls Zayn to the apron, laying flat, and delivers a running knee. Nakamura goes for a knee drop to the back of Zayn's neck, but Zayn moves and Nakamura lands bad on the floor. Nakamura clutches his knee at ringside as Zayn looks on from the ring as we go to commercial. Back from the break, Zayn works Nakamura over the ground while grounding him in a hold. Zayn drops an elbow for a 2 count, and a third quick pin attempt. Zayn shows some frustration now. They get up, and Zayn unloads with chops and for another 2 count. Zayn grounds Nakamura in the middle of the ring once again. Nakamura ends up countering and rolling Zayn into an armbar. Zayn rolls into a 2 count. They get up and trade strikes in the middle of the ring. Nakamura unloads with strikes, then drops Zayn with a shot over the back of the neck. Nakamura with a low drop kick to stun Zayn. Nakamura keeps control, decks Zayn in the corner, and delivers a sliding German suplex. Nakamura goes on and covers for a 2 count. Zayn fights Nakamura off the elbow. Sami ends up countering Nakamura and dropping him with a Michinoku driver. Nakamura kicks out just in time. Nakamura goes to the floor and to regroup. Sami follows and goes to leap through the corner ropes for the signature ring post tornado DDT. But Nakamura cuts him off, laying him out with a big kick to the floor. Nakamura breaks the count and goes back out. Zayn sends him into the steel ring steps, knee first. Nakamura clutches the hurt knee as we go to commercial. Come back from commercial. Zayn focused on Nakamura's injured knee. Zayn takes them to the top, but Nakamura sends Zayn back to the mat. Zayn nails a flying knee strike from the top, but Zayn kicks out. Just in time. Zayn ducks a kick, but Nakamura nails the following up kick to lay Zayn out. Nakamura rallies in the corner. As fans cheer him on, Zayn dodges the running kick attempt, then comes back with a blue thunder bomb. Nakamura kicks out just before the 3 count. Zayn shows some frustration now as fans chant for the champ. Zayn unloads with rights and lefts in the corner, then stomps away as the referee backs him off with a warning. Fans boo Zayn. Zayn mocks Nakamura and tells him to bring it back, Zayn then stomps away in the corner. Some more Nakamura catches a kick and unloads with strikes now. Nakamura with big knee strikes again, the ropes. Then Nakamura stomps away. Nakamura tells Zayn to bring it now as fans pop. Zayn charges, but Nakamura levels him and dazed up. Nakamura stomps away while Zayn is back down against the bottom rope. The referee checks Zayn. Nakamura readies for Kinshasa. Zayn rolls to the floor to avoid it, and fans boo. Zayn ends up wrapping Nakamura's hurt knee around the ring post and slamming it over and over as Nakamura yells out in pain. The boos get louder. Nakamura tries to get free, feeling back in his leg. Zayn brings it back. Zayn blocks a kick, takes Nakamura back down by his leg, and rolls him into a pin for the title win. And now we have a new Intercontinental Champion. So what does Nakamura do for WrestleMania? I think they should really start building him up for Roman Reigns, but that's just me. They've got to start thinking, who is going to take down the tribal chief? Is he, you know what, at this point, make him champion until the Royal Rumble. Have The Rock come back, have Raw win the Royal Rumble, and have The Rock challenge him, and then there you go. It's a very simple concept. He could come out on WrestleMania, bam. We all know that it's long-term booking, right? So after the match, Zayn takes the title and stands tall as his music hits. We go to replays. The referee checks Nakamura, who's still clutching his knee. Zayn drops to his knee and poses with the Intercontinental title. We get a video of Black History Month that shows WWE Hall of Famer Booker T visiting kids at Fox Oak Cliff in the Dallas area. We see the locker room door of the WWE Hall of Famer Bill Goldberg back. We go to commercial. And we come back. Aaliyah is backstage congratulating Ricochet on his win over Sheamus. She goes on about being impressed with the win. He talks about his accomplishments. Sheamus is, but he can't understand why he's tried making Ricochet life so hard. Ricochet goes on and says he realizes Sheamus' past could be his future. Ricochet agrees that this was a good win, then walks off. The new WWE Intercontinental Champion, Sami Zayn, walks up to Aaliyah and asks if she's familiar with the title since she was talking about big wins. He brags some more to her and walks off, stopping to gloat to every staffer. We get a video package for the WWE Elimination Chamber match. We go back to the ring. Out comes WWE Universal Champion with Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns. Raises the title and the pyro goes off. He marches to the ring with Heyman as we go to commercial. Back from commercial break, and Reigns is in the ring with Heyman. He raises the strap again, and more pyro goes off. The announcer goes over the WWE Elimination Chamber card. We go back to the ring and Reigns calls on New Orleans to acknowledge him. The taped crowd is hot and loud. That was dubbed. that was there was no way that they were making that much noise. Reigns then calls on Heyman to celebrate him. Heyman responds with a grand induction for the tribal chief, including a line where he says, "Beginning near Reigns is a spiritual orgasmic." Heyman plays it to the crowd for heat, and they get interrupted. Heyman scolds them and goes on with his introduction for Reigns. The music finally hits where fans begin chanting for the WWE Hall of Famer Bill Goldberg. The camera cuts backstage to the security knocking on Bill Goldberg's locker room door. He makes his way out and fights through the pyro. Reigns looks on from the ring. Goldberg hits the ring and immediately drops his mic. Reigns smirks and says he was going to give Goldberg one last chance to acknowledge him. But Goldberg takes a few steps closer to Reigns. Reigns asks if he's going to walk up on him like that. The Goldberg chants get louder, and Goldberg gets closer. Reigns warns him not to crowd him because he runs things around here now, and this is his ring. Reigns says Goldberg is here to fight. Goldberg is here to fight or talk. Which is it? Goldberg says tomorrow, 12 noon, high noon. And he's got to apologize to everyone. He was wrong. Reigns isn't next. When it comes to the WWE Universal title, Goldberg is next. Fans popped. Goldberg drops the mic and faces off with Roman Reigns in the middle of the ring. Goldberg barks in Reigns' face as the Elimination Chamber Go Home edition goes off the air. All right, that's the end of that. I'm going to get the card for the Elimination Chamber for tomorrow, and we're going to give you the fast predictions. The WWE Championship in the Elimination Chamber. Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, Austin Theory, Matt Riddle, and AJ Styles. Now, if they want some unpredictability, what they should do is they should give it to Matt or AJ. But I know this is going to happen, and I know this is going to happen. It's going to be title for title at WrestleMania. So it's going to be Brock Lesnar picking up the victory. And that's how it is. I want him to win. If I can't have Lesnar, I want either AJ Styles or Seth Rollins. Raw Women's Championship. Becky Lynch taking on WWE Hall of Famer Lita. This is a no-brainer. Becky Lynch is not going into WrestleMania. She's retaining. And we have the Elimination Chamber for the women. The winner of this match will get a opportunity to go to WrestleMania to face either Lita or Becky Lynch. We have Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair versus Doudrop versus Nikki Ash versus Alexa Bliss. I would actually like to see Rhea Ripley pick up the victory. We haven't seen Ripley versus Becky at all. It's a new concept. I think Belair has just... she to me, she doesn't have it. She's a little too much out there. So I'm going to go with Rhea Ripley. Ronda Rousey, Naomi versus Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville, with Ronda Rousey having her hand tied behind her back. Of course, who's going to win? Rousey and Naomi. It's not a rocket scientist. Smackdown Tag Team Champions, the Usos versus the Viking Raiders. Now, something's going to happen with this match to have the Usos retain. This is where the Viking Raiders are going to come in and say, hey, we got screwed and we deserve another opportunity. And they're going to get it at WrestleMania. And that's when they're going to win. Then slowly the Empire is going to crumble. Drew McIntyre versus Madcap Moss. Falls count anywhere. This is a no-brainer. McIntyre is going to win. Rey Mysterio versus The Miz. The Miz is going to win. He needs a big win after losing to Edge and Beth Phoenix. And I think that's it. Yep, that's it. I hope everybody is going to have a very wonderful rest of your Saturday, even though I'm doing this, actually, it is Saturday, so it's 12:30 in the morning right now, but this will be for later on in the morning at around, hopefully, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, so, but it'll be live. I will be Twittering it and everything like that. So please go check out that Outbreak Wrestling. It's in Pennsylvania. If you're serious about joining the camp, go contact them on their Twitter, YouTube, maybe Facebook, wherever social media it is. Don't forget to go check out harrys.com. Go check out Maestro Classics. Go check out liquiddeath.com, deathwishcoffee.com. Go check out hogwrestling.net, House of Glory. Go check out ringsidenews.com. Download their new and improved app on Google Play and iOS stores. Please go check out episode 229. It's in the channel. Go check it. Please like and share my videos. I need a thumbs up. I need thumbs up so it goes in through the search engine and makes it more, visible. And please, 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 please subscribe and turn on all my notifications so when I go live, you'll know about it. I want everybody to have a great Saturday and just go check out all my stuff that I've put on YouTube. And remember, not tomorrow, but the following Sunday, I'm going to be starting a new series with Dark and Dark Elevation. You're going to hear my perspective of who I think is going to be that next to jump onto Rampage and Dynamite. And I'll be back here on Friday with episode 230. So have a great time Saturday, rest of your weekend, and enjoy the Elimination Chamber. And I will be back here sometime in the evening with the review. All right? Love you all. Have a good afternoon.